record our meeting today. He wants to review my performance, so
Okay.
just so you're aware, we don't want to sneak on you with any hidden stuff. And you can use the video too if you want. I'll save it and then you can have a copy or something if you want for any reason.
Alright, yeah, that sounds great. I wasn't sure before if I could record just because confidentiality. Like, I know we can't record our professors, so I figured.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah, we cannot, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would make things easier to study.
I know. I don't know what it is. They just don't let us.
When I was in school, most of the courses were actually pre-recorded, so you could just review it as many times as you wanted. There was a weekly meeting with like the TA, the teacher's assistant, which was live, but you could still watch recorded versions of it as well.
Oh wow, that must be nice.
Yeah.
Like, then you can just go back to it.
Yeah. So how did you have a week off as well, or?
I did. So this is my week coming back, and we actually just got our new assignments, so I don't really have that much progress, but I would be curious for any suggestions on how to go about what I'm currently working on.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. If you don't mind, first I'd like to ask kind of how it went. I know you guys had like some sort of review with Bridget or whatever.
Like our stand-up?
Well, didn't you guys like have like on Thursday or something, some was due, and then you guys were gonna check it like the APK for UMA, I'm assuming?
I believe that was last Thursday that the APK was due.
That's what I mean, yeah, because the Thursday we just had, we were all off, so I mean the one before that.
Oh, yeah, 2 weeks ago, sorry. Yeah, so unfortunately, I actually went with Fate on Monday back in to redo the APK because there were some issues with it. But he kind of walked me through it, so now I know how to actually package it the right way for next time.
Okay, but so were you guys able to produce an APK that she could look at or whatever? Or?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, and how'd it go?
So the main issue with it was that I think it just couldn't upload to the store because it worked for me and Bridget didn't really have any issue with it. At least she didn't mention any issues with it. So I'm pretty sure it worked.
Okay. I didn't know you guys were uploading it to the store.
Yeah, so I believe it was passed off to be deployed using the script, and that's where they found issues with it, and I had to go back in. And that's what I was doing with Fate, just to modify.
Did you guys set up the application details through Oculus and everything? I don't think we could just use that same script without having the application details set up and stuff.
I think that's what they had me go in and change.
Oh. Well, so best of luck with that. I haven't really gotten too much into deployment scripts. I saw some of the stuff he did. It was in Java or whatever. Or yeah, I think it was in Java.
I believe the one, because I had to open it up at one point and switch the code, was for Python.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh yeah, it was Python.py. Yep. So you got to work in some of the Python code, you said?
Well, I mean, it wasn't so much me working in it, just more so he told me, like, add this function in so it works. Because he was also editing it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even just adding little bits of code, you can look at stuff and pick up different things from it.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. I mean, I have some experience with Python, so I understand it, just...
Yeah, if you're going to get into like a text-based scripting language, Python is definitely a pretty good one to learn in the beginning because it's really close to English and stuff like that, as opposed to C++, which, I mean, obviously I highly encourage you to learn C++ if you want to get a job working in Unreal, because it's almost like a requirement for most companies. But like a starter language, Python is definitely a lot easier.
Yeah, I definitely liked it a lot when we first started, and it kind of gave you the confidence to start learning C++. So that's definitely something I'm hoping to get better at.
Well, we can look at something really basic that I made before we get into your stuff if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So this last week I was creating, or no, the week we were here, I had like a couple of days, I think it was like a day and a half, that I spent building am I sharing my screen? Can you see everything okay?
Yeah, I can.
So I built a parent class for our weapons, because we wanted calculations in there for like the weapon, like the rating of the weapon. So I'll show you in the code, but each section has like a rating in it. And then we also wanted to reduce the durability of the weapon, and then I actually added a replenishing durability functionality as well, so that when the weapon's all worn out, you can go back to a certain area and then replenish the durability, and then you'll be able to use the weapon again. If that all makes sense so far.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of referred to you, like, basics behind this experience and what you guys wanted for it.
Oh, okay. Well, so this was actually in the code. I copied in what they wanted. So they for the rate of fire, they wanted like a score out of 10, so like 1 out of 10 through 10 out of 10, and it like determines how fast the weapon fires. And then accuracy, we wanted to create a percentage where there's a deviation. So like whether I hit it with a sword or whether I shoot it with my crossbow, if I have a poor accuracy rating, it won't always give me the score where it should have hit. It'll deviate from where it was, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
And then durability, that's just in relation to making it so that they can't use the weapon anymore. And then range is pretty obvious. The only one that has like a really short range, as far as I know, is the sword, because you're just like kind of right there. And then so basically what you do whenever you're creating C++, at least for me, is I always start out with kind of the variables that I know I'm going to need. And for this one, so we know that we needed, and just start, is this your first look at a C++ file, or we looked at it briefly, I think maybe?
I believe you've seen it before, but I mean, I've never gone in and actually understood.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I would say that you're not going to fully understand even after today, but hopefully you'll just have kind of an idea of how to use one. So whenever you're in Unreal Engine, you could just press add C++ class, and this is an actor class. So it gets these include statements, and basically what an include does is it allows you to access like a repository of functions and things like that. So an actor has certain functions about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, because you guys use actors all the time in Blueprints too. It's the same base. The actor in Blueprints comes from this actor CPP file.
Right, so it's, I guess I'm just used to the visual aspect of it, but this is pretty much like accessing the library.
Well, so basically what it does is I write, the comparison would be right-clicking in the Blueprint in your your content browser, and then selecting actor, and it would automatically include any sort of ability that actors have. And that's what this does here.
That makes sense.
And then like if I created a character, this would say character here, and then it would have all the functionality a character has, like movement functionality and stuff.
Okay.
And then here, this is the class, so like the weapon itself is the class, so we're creating the class. And then here we're just doing a public open. And what this is, are you familiar with the construction script in Blueprints?
Yes, I know.
So all this is right here is basically our construction script. This function is the construction script, and I'll show you that in the C++ as well. But it's all stuff that happens before begin play, essentially, is what your construction script does.
Okay.
And then the begin play here, that's pretty obvious. And then tick, even though I'm not using tick. And then these things do different stuff, like public and protected, and oh yeah, we have one private one too. It limits access to certain variables or functions based on what kind of category it's under. So public obviously being the least restrictive, protected being a little bit more, and then private being the most restricted type. And then so under our public, we've just got a bunch of variables. And whenever you're creating a variable in C++, you go ahead and do something like this where you type uProperty. Oh, it's not going to let me edit it. But you type uProperty and then you just do brackets. This stuff here is extra and gives me extra functionality where I can like edit it anywhere. I can read it or write it inside my blueprints. And it adds a category. So like when you're in your blueprints on the right hand side, you can actually see the rating and stuff like that. And then we've got other ones that don't have as much stuff in there because we don't need to edit them in the blueprint. You usually only do this kind of stuff if it's something you're going to edit in the blueprint. But here they're just reading and writing it. We don't have to do the other stuff. And then these are functions. So instead of uProperty, you do uFunction. And then blueprint callable means that I can call this function inside of the blueprint to disable or enable the weapon. So if I wanted to do that right in blueprints, I'll be able to access this function.
Oh, cool.
And then, and then this is more complicated, and it's going to take you some time to get used to. I'm sure you've created functions in blueprints before. So when you create them, you can create like inputs and outputs for it. So basically, I mean, again, this is something you're gonna have to study up on, but basically this side over here before the function name is the output. So like this one doesn't output anything because it's void, but this one outputs a boolean, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay, I see. I was wondering what the void was for, but...
Yeah, this one just means it doesn't output anything. And then stuff inside the brackets are inputs. And that's the simplest way to understand it. When I first learned about these particular things, I had no idea what was going on. And then starting to think about it, like the inputs and the outputs of a function in blueprints really helped me.
Yeah, I was going to say the visual aspect of this, like being able to think back on it really helps.
Yeah. And then, so the reason that this one's private and has that kind of protection is we don't want hackers or the players to be able to somehow access whether their weapon is enabled or not.
Okay, so I'm just wondering how, what makes the private different from the public?
So these can be changed and manipulated in other blueprints too. So like I could call like cast to weapon, and since it's public, I could cast to it, and then I could change its variables. This one, it can only be done inside this specific class.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then so looking at the C++ file, basically this is where everything gets implemented. So that the H is where you store like the settings basically, and then this is where you store the functions and what's going to actually happen. So again, this is our construction script right here. It doesn't have anything in it. The begin play does have something in it. So what we're doing is we're calculating the weapon values based on these things that people are putting in on their blueprints. So I don't know if you saw, these are the variables that we gave all those special things on the blueprints. So in the blueprint, you can change it. And then on begin play, the C++, like the parent class, which is what this is, can calculate all the values based on the information you put in for the specific weapon.
Okay, that's pretty
handy.
Yeah, useful, yep. And then these are just really simple, like, so void, meaning it doesn't return anything, doesn't have any inputs, and we're just making a function called disable weapon, and it just sets it to false. Enabling it sets it to true. So, I mean, like, a lot of this stuff comes down to super basic. You can just do it for sure. Instead of it being a checkbox, you're just typing false or true.
Right.
And then here's our calculations for the weapon values. So we're taking in, basically, remember we're taking in these inputs, and then we're setting these variables down here. So each one of these inputs goes into one of those areas. See how it's lighting it up?
Yeah.
And then it's actually being set. These specific things are being set. The delay, the hit percentage, the uses remaining, and the range are being calculated based on those values that were entered for that specific weapon. And then just reducing durability. We're just decrementing is what that is. When you do 2 minus signs, that means just reducing it by 1. And then if the uses remaining are less than or equal to 0, we're disabling the weapon. And then here we're just replenishing the durability.
Okay.
Yeah, this is very similar to what we've scripted with Python, so it's kind of comforting to know. A lot of the fundamentals remain the same.
Yeah, I mean, while Python is a language that's easier to read and write, a lot of the programming fundamentals are absolutely the same. .h files can be tricky when you're first getting used to it, because I don't know if there's any other languages that have that.
I don't know what that is.
It's the one where you're looking at the settings. So there was the CPP, where the C++ file, where we actually implemented all of the functions and stuff like that, and the begin play was in there. And then the .h was where we set all the variables and things like that. So basically it's a settings file, essentially.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's just a different file.
Yeah, and you need it to be able to set up functions and stuff like that too. But yep, it's time to get into the interesting stuff for you. If you want to show me what you're working on or ask questions, you said you guys were starting something new.
Yeah, so I'll pull up my screen here, and then I'll just show a little bit of the presentation. So I'm focused on creating a way for the user to customize their environment. So for this, we decided to go with replicating kind of like an Oculus Home style UI, where you pull furniture from an actual menu and then are able to place it anywhere on the level.
Oh, cool.
So this, I just like really basic was setting up a widget just to kind of get like spawning the 2D menu to work. Since we just started this yesterday, I don't really have that much, but
And then menu-wise and grabbing-wise, is that all going to be done on touch, or is it going to be with like a laser pointer or something?
So going off the example, I noticed that it's almost as if they are.
We can look at it again.
Yeah, so it seems like they're actually grabbing it based off the laser pointer and then using that later to actually manipulate and move the object throughout the level.
Okay.
So use your like thumbstick and then you can kind of place it anywhere you want or even rotate it.
And then are you guys using the VR example pond still?
Yes, we are.
And have you done anything with it? Do you know if you're doing motion and stuff too, or if it's just kind of placing the stuff around?
It's just kind of placing stuff around for now. We'll have to look into a way to actually get it. By motion, you mean like actually moving it around fluidly?
Moving around in your environment. So like, are you also going to be able to move around in your environment, or are you just working on kind of this menu is sitting there and you can navigate through it and then move stuff?
So the user should be able to move through the level because this map actually has like a whole gallery of other actions. So yeah, the user will be able to move
And you guys are using that just teleport motion still?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. The only reason I ask is that it'd be interesting, and it would just also be a concern to take in, like what if the player is still attached to the thing, and then they initiate some form of motion, like what effect would that have on where the item's placed and stuff like that?
Yeah, that is something we have to look into because I have noticed with the teleportation part, if you hold something and try to move using the same hand, you can actually like make the item fly out of your hand. So it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Are you guys? I don't know what the plan is. Is the plan to have the menu already in the thing, or is the plan to spawn the menu when you press a button?
So far, I haven't implemented because just for level loading sake, I'm not sure if it still wants to do the actual like press a button, you load something in. That's still on the backlog. She kind of wants to see how it is just having everything open first. So far I just have the menu, and I'm not having users spawn it.
Okay. That, I mean, just so you know, that would be really easy. You could set it as the left Oculus button, and then just have it spawn like a certain distance from the player camera or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind, and then if I'm able to change it, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, that seems more useful to me, especially if the player is moving around. So say I'm in the far right corner of the map, and I want to put a chair right there, or whatever object you guys are working on. I shouldn't have to go all the way back to the menu over there and then try and do the long laser thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it would also be more rewarding too.
Okay, well that's I don't know what your guys' priorities are. So what is your plan then? Are you going to use I think it's like trace by channel, or have you started on anything?
I've started on the basic widget, just getting this to work. That's kind of all I really have, is just like press the button and then a cube spawns like under it. I haven't mapped anything yet to actually like move the object, manipulate it. I still need to do a little bit of research, and I'm curious if you have any suggestions on how to actually get the object to move around based on line trace as opposed to the player's hand.
So the easiest way to do it, and I don't know if you want to write this down because I've got something else too, but the easiest way to do it that I could think of, just like right off the top of my head, is I would have like essentially a line trace, but I'd also have a mesh, and I don't know if you guys have access to our other projects. I'm sure you do, but it was something that I kind of talked to Fate about, where basically you have this line trace, and then a mesh spawns along the line trace based on how far away the nearest object of collision is. And then at the end of it, you essentially have like this little ball, this little sphere or whatever. And in answer to your question, if I was spawning the furniture I'm assuming eventually you guys are going to have the window for the actual particular furniture, but if I was clicking on that, at that point I would attach that to the end of my ball on my sphere, and then I would keep it attached until they release the trigger. So if they're following it around, you still have this line trace going with the mesh that's getting extended based on the length of the line trace with the ball on the end, and then you're just going around the map, and they're still seeing it, the ball on the thing too, and then whenever they set it down, it releases it, and then essentially removes the line trace and stuff.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That was the other issue with collisions and stuff.
What was the other issue? I'm sorry, I was being all squeaky with my chair.
Oh, that's fine. The other issue with collisions, so that's actually a great solution.
Yeah, I mean, and you can even set the line trace by channel. Have you ever done that before?
I have.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you can even set it to look for very specific things too. So you could create a tag for the floor, and a tag for the menu, and only have it interact with those two things, and then it wouldn't interact with anything else in the map. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of options if you go down that route. Now, what I was going to say though is one thing: if I was given this particular task, so that whole thing is your task, or what is the?
Yeah. So because we have, I think like, let me check. About 2 weeks at the end of this one. This will just be my entire task the rest of the time. So.
Okay. So what my suggestion would be then would be to start with the UI. Because you're going to be building from there, and you're going to learn things while you're making your UI that might also help you in the future with the process as well.
Okay.
Have you done a UI design?
Design-wise, we have done a little for other projects, such as when we worked with Moffitt. I actually was never really in charge of the UI, so this is kind of first for me.
Sure. Do you want to mess around with it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, do you have Photoshop and all that stuff, or no?
Unfortunately, not on this computer.
What do you use for editing software or whatever?
So, as far as like actually etching out or do you mean like designing it fully with art-wise?
Just so like pull up that image of what the goal is.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, see if we can get a still image of the actual menu.
Oh, actually, I think I have it here. No. Sure, you could find one.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. Of course not.
Yeah.
we could just look at that little video for a second. So there's something to the left. Are you also designing that too, or are you just designing this this menu that's going to have the stuff in it?
Just this part. Because the left menu is like for other options going back, but I just need to complete this part.
How many objects are you going to have in there? Do you know? Is it a set amount or?
There's no like hard rule, at least not for the task. I was just going to use primitives or like low poly assets that I can import in. The goal is to at least have like 5 or 7, so that way it's good.
Well, so the good news is between 5 and 7 is 6, so that's an even number if you want to make your menu like that. But if you want to make it, what did they have? 12? Is it or no? How many do they have on screen? So are you trying? You're not trying to do the scrolling capability then?
That wasn't something that
Okay, so how many can they fit on screen with it looking good? Is it 12 or is it 8? You think 8?
Yeah, because, actually, you're right, it was 12.
So, and if your concern is the objects themselves, you can just pick up free objects like from that from the Epic store, Epic Marketplace.
Yeah, that was something that I was considering doing too.
I mean, it's so easy to do that for sure.
Yeah, just to like find some.
But yeah, what I would do then is I would start out and so again are we gonna have the mark all viewed thing or whatever the heck that is?
Probably not, just because I don't. That seems like a feature
For this
for
specific thing.
scrolling.
And then what is the other one? Can you read that? I can't read it on my computer. The other drop down.
I'll wait for it again. I believe it's the newest.
Okay, so we won't need that either. And then there's something in the top left. I can't. It's so bad. But okay, so it's just got like a name of each item, and then the item image with a white background.
Yeah, that's what it looks like at least.
Okay, and you're not going to have that top part, so basically the background is just black, it looks like. Okay, so yeah, just pull up Unreal Engine. I mean, that's pretty easy if it's just black. And then, is this your widget? So yeah, is that your widget, the spawn furniture or whatever?
Yeah, so I was just testing out the interactivity because I wanted to make sure that the pawn would actually be able to interact with it because we've had issues with that in the past.
Sure.
So.
Do you want a background or you just want something black?
Probably just something black. I don't know if.
Okay. So then just do, I think you can do image. So just drag image in there. And then, so yeah, I don't think we want it to fill the whole thing unless you want it to be this shape. I'm thinking you want it more like long downwards, kind of. So you're gonna want to center it as much as you can, yeah. And one good thing about this is, so you click it, just click it, and then use your direction pads on your keyboard.
Oh, yeah, that's like Illustrator. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it makes it way easier.
Let's see. I believe this is center.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then now go to anchors on the right under your slot. On the far right, yep. There's the very top one is called anchors. So you have to click that, and then do the very middle one. So basically, what that does is it anchors that particular element of the widget to a specific location, and we want to anchor it to the center. See how it's got that little flower or whatever it is, and it moved from the top left corner into the middle. So yeah, now you can just change the color. So that was super easy. And then, so we can do it a couple of different ways for the next part. I think the cleanest way to do it would be to try and have a divider. So you can put that spawn furniture like down the bottom right corner just for now, because you can use it for testing and all that kind of stuff still. Just press Control Z with that movement if you want to do it, but.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to grab this, I think.
Oh yeah. It's clicked. You can just use your left and right on your thing.
Wait, which one?
So once you've clicked it, you can do that thing where you're just using the keyboard, just pressing the left and right on it.
Oh, it's like only getting it.
It's not doing it for you?
Yeah.
There's some sort of trick to only highlight. Oh, lock the back thing. So click that back thing, the image, and then just click the lock on it. No, not on the button.
Oh.
Do it on the image on the very bottom, image 42.
Oh, I see.
Now we should be good.
Okay, now I'll put him here.
Yeah, and we can leave that locked anyways, the button or the image or whatever. So now, I don't have much experience with this, but I think we should do it anyways. So click image 42, and then go up to the search palette on the top left. And I don't know if it's called divider. Try divider maybe. No, DI. Hold on, just backspace. So panel. Maybe click on that panel on the panel one. Open the caret or whatever it's called. Uniform grid panel. No. So Control Z real quick. You got to make sure you drop that onto your image thing.
Oh.
I know that won't work, huh?
Can't have children.
That's messed up. Oh, there. It was given a check mark. Give it a do it. Do it back in there. You just. Oh no, it's below it, huh? Lame. Now can you drag it onto it?
Well, let me.
Maybe because it's Okay, so scroll up again on the top left. Okay, so we don't want an image then. We want a border. Maybe no. Is it a border? Drag border out and just see what it looks like. Okay, so now try dragging that grid panel onto there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have to replace your image. So delete the image. You're gonna have to unlock it maybe to delete it. I don't even know.
Just quickly.
Oh, and you can take your time. We're not in a rush. This is all part of it. You want it to line up and stuff. Oh yeah, make sure your button follows your spawn furniture.
Yeah, I'm like trying to grab. For some reason it won't let me.
Lock all the other stuff if it won't let you grab them. Yeah, just lock everything else. Don't lock the actual thing.
Okay.
And then you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to grab the uniform grid panel and put it back on the border. It's not parented anymore. Okay, so let's see what we got. So on the right, for the minimum grid panel, the uniform grid panel, for the right, we probably want it center aligned on both, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and check that. Yep. And then slot packing. So can you go over slot packing and see what that says?
This one?
Yeah, just highlight, padding given to each slot, okay. So we need to set how many slots we have. Where's that option? Okay, that's all padding information. Slot padding. Oh, okay. How about this? Now drag a image onto the uniform grid panel. And then grab another one. Yeah, just keep going. How many did we say we were going to do? 8?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. Okay, so let's bring up our uniform grid panel now and give them some padding. Just make it something ridiculous to see if we're even doing the right thing right now. So like third, yeah, there we go. So okay, left, right, minimum slot width. Okay, so put that back down to like maybe 4. And then change your slot width and slot height to, just like 20 each or something. Hit compile, see if it does anything. That didn't do anything, did it?
So look like it.
Huh.
Should probably change this.
Change what? Oh, to black?
Yeah, that way we can see the.
God. Now this would be the way of doing it the right way. I mean, obviously we could do it the wrong way. But there's got to be some sort of... Okay, hold on. So when something isn't working, Google is your friend. So that's called the uniform grid panel. How the fuck, or how HTF do I use the uniform grid panel in UMG? Here we go. You want to watch my screen? Hold on, I'll share my screen.
Alright.
Hi there, I'm the Illustrated. Hello, and welcome.
I don't know if you have seen these like WTF is or stuff like that. Some of these YouTube tutorials are so good.
I have created a simple example here, and the uniform grid panel as a child of a tens panel for easy decisioning. I sized up the panel, let's go 900 by 900, make it easy, and center it to the center.
Okay, so let's start with that. Let's increase the size of the panel or whatever, like you just did. Do you want me to show it again?
Yeah, I can't really see it because.
So under the uniform grid panel, it should say size X and size Y below anchors and stuff somewhere. Does it say that?
Just padding.
Just padding. So it doesn't have, you can't see my screen, you can't see the things right here.
Oh, I see it now. Okay. Yeah, there's no anchor option anymore.
There's no anchor for the uniform grid panel anymore. Nice. And that looks like he only has these settings very minimal. Here, just 0 and 0. Okay, well that didn't work. So we can always look at, oh yeah, listing items in a grid, uniform grid panel. Let's hope that UE documentation is going to save us. No, that's not UE documentation, that's people asking questions. Okay, here we go. So set column, is that an option in there? Or set row?
Doesn't look like it, at least nothing's coming up.
This determines what cell the slot is in the target. Okay, so you can go ahead and share now, and we'll take a look together. There's no uniform grid panel UE doc. It's it's only the slot.
Yeah, they must have updated, I guess not updated documentation.
Yeah, they usually are really good about that. Uniform grid child. Add child to uniform grid. You can do it dynamically. That doesn't really help us. Okay, so do you want to do it so go ahead and just delete that uniform grid panel. We're going to try and find something else.
Okay.
So where was that at? That was under panel, right? So canvas panel, we already have one of those. We're already on a canvas panel, right? Grid panel, or what about a horizontal box? So look at those two, grid panel and horizontal box, and then this time you decide which one do you think is going to be the best one.
Okay. Seems like this one. Otherwise, the other one you have to have 3 of.
Okay, so what are the options we have in this one?
The same.
Column fill, look at that, hold on. Look up top. Column fill and row fill. There you go.
I suppose.
So this would be where you create the rows and columns. So the render transform, translation. So see down there where it says scale? Try increasing the scale a bit, yeah. No, put it back to 1 on there. And do the translation, maybe increase the translation. No?
It's moving it.
We don't want any pivot. It's doing what? I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Oh, I was moving it, but
It was making it bigger and stuff, or no?
no, just like moving it to the side.
Okay, maybe it's because we're putting it in the border.
Try it. Let's take it out.
Oh yeah, see how much bigger it is already?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can drop it on there. So now try messing with those values we were looking at. The render transform.
Seems like it's making one, but I wonder how you make multiple.
Well, we only need one of these. The grid panel will be where we store the individual images on.
Oh.
So like column fill and row fill are how many items in each row and column is my hope.
Quickly see.
Yeah, can you zoom in to see if we're making any changes on the interior? And then try drag a couple of those images into the grid thing now. Oh, there we go. Cool. Yay. We're actually doing something. Okay. So now drag 8, and then we're going to have to mess with the settings until it looks good. Or duplicate, yeah, like you were doing. Make sure that, okay, so click on the left, make sure that, so let's see if it lets them move or whatever.
Oh, like this?
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it looks like I just have to set it here. Wait.
Okay, so that's the fill. What if you put it at like 2 or 3? What does that do? Okay. So that's like a division of space, maybe?
Yeah, because I noticed when it was just one of these, like I had these.
Go to the grid panel and see if we have our, if we automatically have like a way to make it so there's space between the different items in the grid.
Oh, the padding settings?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, geez, you know what we did wrong with the border?
what?
Here, so put it inside the border again really quick, and you can press Control-Z if I'm wrong, but... And then now on the grid panel, go to... Where's the thing that said... Oh, did it just disappear? There's a thing that said fit to something. Just press Control-Z. Ignore it for now. We'll see what happens when you press Control-Z. Yeah, it says size to content. See that? So maybe do size to content for the interior stuff. No?
Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's because I'm on border.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, so it's just it. Okay, now try moving those panels. So leave it size to content, and then move one of the panels on the inside. Like do whatever you can to like What was it where you press the arrow on it? Yeah, there you go. Press an arrow on one of them, and do a down one now. Yeah, there you go. And then
Okay.
and then do 2 to the so do 4 to the right, 4 total to the right. Let's just get it set up where it's 2 by 4 or whatever.
Just has to be all different. So, 4.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun of this stuff too. Sometimes you just get to experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing it this way will keep the images more organized than if you were to do it like making the UI and then just like setting them in specific places, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that, but also I am curious for the interaction wise.
I would suggest doing the interaction all in the blueprint. Do you have a blueprint of this?
Yeah, I have the menu blueprint that's calling the actual widget.
The menu blueprint. Okay, and that makes the blueprint appear or something?
Yeah, so far it's just, Well, I had originally set it up so that it would spawn a queue because it was originally the button, but it's just for the spawning actual widget in the level.
Okay. So the way that we usually do stuff is we do it in the blueprint itself, and we just add a collision box to each individual component.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that is. I wasn't sure if there was a more like optimized way to do it.
I mean, it's not unoptimized to have overlap checks.
Oh, really?
Oh no, I mean, an overlap check isn't too bad. It's as long as you're not doing some special function where it's like checking overlap constantly on tick or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was for some reason I always thought that collision, like making collisions, was a bit expensive. But...
I mean, it can be if you do it wrong, but I mean, it depends on how you do it. The easiest way is you just check for, like, if you're doing it and then you have to cast to something, it becomes more expensive. So, like, a lot of the time you'll see people do it and then it says, like, cast to pawn or whatever. That's more expensive than if it, like, checks if a component that overlapped it had a certain tag, like a tag that you put on there that says player.
Okay, I see. Because that's probably why then I used to always cast, like when we first started out, if the motion controller was touching, so that's probably...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, again, it's super easy to set up a tag too. Do you know how to do that? I'm sure.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and then it just checks for the tag, sees if this other overlapping component has a tag. In your case, it'd be the little sphere ball. So, like, give the sphere ball a tag of menu interaction widget or whatever, and if it has that and the person clicks, then you do the interaction or whatever.
Alright, yeah, but a lot easier than the way I was trying to do it.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, obviously in this you're just gonna have to mess around with the settings to make it look good.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure you can figure that out. And then in here, the good thing about these images, you haven't used this yet. So on the right under the details panel, so see where it says appearances and you were changing the color? So right above it says brush, so you do the little caret next to it. And then you could just take a picture, like a screenshot of whatever the thing is that they're going to spawn, and you just put that image right in there.
Oh yeah, that's gonna make things a lot easier.
Yeah,
So,
obviously. That won't work too well. And then, yeah, you're going to probably have to change some settings where it fits to its container or whatever.
yeah, because it looks like
Yeah, I just press Control Z really quick. There you go. But yeah, I mean, just make sure the images are the same size. And if you don't figure out the padding, like say you get it so they all look really good, but they don't have the padding that you want, you can always fake that by just doing it in the image that you're going to use.
Oh, okay, yeah, I just put like a black border around it.
Yeah, and then just make sure it's the same color and it'll be seamless.
I wonder if this is... Okay, I think I can adjust it here too.
Oh yeah, awesome. And we have like 6 minutes left. Do you have any other questions or anything like that?
No, I think you've pretty much covered everything. I was just kind of curious how I should set this up, at least the best way to do it, and now I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty UI now. Now if you spawn that in, you got a multicolored little quilt going on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, pleasure talking to you, Megan. Did you say you're going to be here another week, so I'll see you next week, or?
Oh yeah, so I end August 13th.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure. I know the meetings that we had scheduled, it said it expired this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you're going to make another one.
Yeah, I mean, or I can just send you a link if the 11 o'clock works for you, or my time, obviously. Or if if another time works better for you on that day, obviously, just let me know. I'm pretty flexible.
All right. It should be fine. I had a dentist appointment today is why. But
Do what you gotta do. Cool. Well, you have a good rest of your week then. I'll plan on seeing you next Thursday.
All right, I'll see you then. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later. Oh, and I'll send you that video if it worked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, talk to you later.